I went for a move on Zoo, which was, it wasn't stupid, but it was optimistic. It was 3 car lengths back, but I had the move done, and I was at the apex, but Vachor was preparing to overtake someone on the next straight, so he was like even slower, mate. Like he must have been doing 30 k's. He just wasn't moving.
I remember watching the onboard. I mean, I think I even saw on Twitter that you owned up the fact that in the end it's your mistake. It's not Richard's, obviously.
I mean, if I'm completely honest, mate, like when we got to the start finish line, I can't remember. I remember looking at the data. They were 2 seconds ahead of me. So I didn't even look at them. If I'm completely honest, holding my hands, I didn't even. All I was focused on was getting the move done on Zoo. I was like, right, okay, I've outbraked here, good move. Oh shit, there's a car at the apex. Like, I didn't even see it really. So.
Even when I watched the onboard back, I mean, you can even halfway through the braking zone. I remember watching the first time and not even acknowledging that it was going to be Richard that you hit.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? He's still so, but like you say, he was so slow. Not in terms of a mistake. He was just
preparing the exit.
It was amazing visually to see how long he seemed to stay at the apex for, which caught you out. Obviously,
he was. I mean, I think the fella in front of him, I can't remember who it was now, was defending, so he was going slow. So then the door was going really slow to get the cut back. So it's just one of those, unfortunately. But it's definitely my mistake, obviously. So
then it happened to you again in race 2, was it?
Then it happened to me, and obviously ended my entire race, and you got no penalty at all, which is by the by. But yeah, I mean. A lot of people said, why was I going so slow preparing the exit? If you watch all the onboards, mate, I'm in the middle of the track. Like, I'm not even on the apex. Like, I'm slow in the middle, but I'm in the middle of the track. I'm probably a car's length away from the apex, like maybe more. So like that sort of rubbishes anyone an argument saying that I was preparing the exit too much, because I was fully expecting that sort of thing to happen. So that's why I gave so much room. But again, it's a racing incident. Obviously, didn't mean to do it, but it cost me the race. I think I had Lawson in front of me or someone else, and I believe my pace would have been stronger than theirs, so it probably could have been a win, that race. Which is, I can't remember any points, but
pace wise it did look good from my point of view as well. But what I would say is always the fans are quickly down people's throat when they see something, particularly something like F2, which is now so televised. But they also haven't done 300 k's an hour down a straight with DRS and different closing speeds. So they don't appreciate how difficult it is or how easy, it is to misjudge.
I mean, and I'm Dan Ticktum, so they're down my
straight on you.
So it's just sort of like, I don't know, it just sort of compounds the issue a little bit. But anyway, there's no shying away from it,
But you do get a bit, don't you?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, like, and I will say this, like, on a serious level, people, like, if you actually know me, I'm actually quite a nice bloke. People just think like I'm this awful, arrogant, spoiled, whatever they want to think, but I'm really not. Like, genuinely. No. Like, so I think, I'm always making a joke and, I don't know, taking the piss out of someone, but like when it actually comes to a genuine conversation, like, I'm actually a decent human being, I think. So
again, people just see what they see on the TV, which is a small snippet of an interview that you've just had when you've got out the car and your heart rate's being 180 and you may be slightly pissed off because you haven't had a good race. So that's all they see. They don't see everything,
I mean, completely. I mean, when I did get hit by Schwartzman in that race, I got tagged round. I even got, people had a go at me for that radio message, and all I said was it was marvellous. Like, I didn't swear, I didn't insult anyone or anything. I just said it's marvellous. Like,
I think she said lovely or something as well. It's a marvellous, lovely or something like that.
A marvellous, absolutely marvellous, I think I said.
Oh, that was it, That was brilliant. But like what Nick said there, I mean, to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons why we thought it'd be good to start this kind of thing with a podcast, because we see, I've experienced it myself, not probably as much as you, obviously, but we wear a helmet. Nobody sees our face until we get out, unless we're on the podium, which normally means we had a good one. And they just see what happens. They don't know the person. And we thought, that was a good idea a good reason to make a podcast, because they start to see the people beyond the helmet effectively.
I mean, the only sort of other big podcast I did was with Noel Miller last year in sort of September, August time. And a lot of people sort of messaged me and basically said, yeah, we didn't expect to see this side of you, all this kind of stuff. And Noel put it very well. He said, a lot of people talk about me, but no one talks to me.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
A very good way to say it, and I get people obviously come on my Insta and slate me. I mean, I don't reply very, very often to anyone, but sometimes if I'm bored at an airport or whatever and someone
the wrong moment.
Yeah, no, I'll just message them and just say, why do you believe me to be a clown? Why all I've done is work my bollocks off my whole career to get to this point, and it means something to me. So like obviously I'm going to get wound up, and then all of them, I've probably done it about 10 times, and they all go, oh, sorry.
Sorry,
and then they're like really nice to you. Oh, I'm actually a big fan of you. And I'm just like, oh, it's really sad to see all the hate you get. I'm just like, well, why are you peddling it on my page, mate?
Yeah.
Block. Anyway.
No, but I was just gonna say, it's a bit of a pet hate of mine. Not from because I accept it, like you probably have to do as well. But if you're in F1 and you're racing for Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, whoever, you kind of accept it, don't you? You go, it's going to happen. It's a worldwide sport. It's fans for the fans.
Yeah, not everyone like you. Yeah,
but in F2 and F3, I think people don't realise it's still it's still junior. We are still either us, family, sponsors, F1 team, junior, whatever, is paying for that car to go racing. The team aren't paying us. So in many ways, it's like, why did they not treat you the same way as an F1 driver would? But I just don't think they understand quite they
don't recognise that, in inverted commas, I've sacrificed my whole life to try and get to Formula One. I've sacrificed my education. I've sacrificed having any friends. I've sacrificed, everything to try and get to Formula One. And I just think sometimes they just, I mean, I'm not asking for respect, because that's not me, but like, I just feel, yeah, exactly what you say. They just don't quite appreciate, the level of stuff going on behind the scenes, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just, but to be honest though, mate, it's a problem. Not just in motorsport, it's a worldwide problem, the whole social media thing, like you see all these people commenting on, politics or whatever. It's just like, all we see from politics is what the media tells us. We have absolutely no idea what's going on in the little meetings and everything. And you've got these people giving their full-blown opinions, they know nothing.
Yeah, as if it's
just like, they shouldn't be allowed to have such strong opinions on something that they're not educated about, in my opinion. But anyway.
No, I agree. I mean, I said it, I think, on an episode we did with Jack Aitken, and something that always sticks in my mind when this kind of topic of conversation comes up is I saw an NFL coach say that, back in the day before social media, to have an opinion, you've had to have done something.
Agreed.
Like you had to have made money, made a career, been a sports person, been a role model, whoever. But now you don't have to. You just sign it, put your email and password into a social media
anonymous as well. It's crazy. I mean, I don't believe in massive hierarchies and stuff, but I believe you've got to have some substance behind your opinion, otherwise it's just not valid at all. But the problem is someone sees something that's funny or hateful, whatever, and they all jump on the bandwagon and just peddle it forward and forward and forward. I mean, it's just nuts. I mean, anyway. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's something I asked you over Instagram if it's all right to talk about as well, but I have a feeling, and you correct me if you think it's wrong, I'm wrong or not, but do you think some of it comes from that season in 2015 about what happened with the 1 year ban?
I would say, I mean, I wouldn't put a percentage on it, but I would say, you reap what you sow, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I sort of set my, what's the word?
Precedent.
Yeah. I set my reputation in stone from, the start of my car racing career, really. And not a lot of people know about that season, really. I mean, the biggest pressure I had was from Red Bull. I was a Red Bull athlete, so that doesn't mean a large monetarily contribution, but I was basically told by Helmet, you know, if I win that year, I'll have full backing in Formula 3. So I was like, okay, great. You know, so I need to win. Halfway through the season, I'm winning, or 4 races in or something, I'm winning the championship. And my dad tells me, look, you know, I haven't got 1.2 million quid to pay for F3. So, you know, you need to get this Red Bull stuff, basically. So I had that. So I was basically
16 years old or something.
Yeah, but yeah, 15, 16 years old. I mean,
that's mad.
Yeah, I mean, what are most 15, 16-year-olds doing? You know, you know, smoking a joint in some derelict barn somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it's true though. Like, you know,
Most of them are, yeah.
Like,
Especially in Birmingham.
Yeah, no, I've got like the weight of like one of the biggest companies in the world, you know, and one of the most successful, you know, racing sponsors ever, you know, knocking on my door offering sponsorship if I win. So, you know, and then halfway through the year, Carlin sort of started to sort of catch up basically, and they sort of overtook us basically. They started to get better. And, you know, on the second to last round of the season, mathematically I had to finish third in this race to be able to get the championship. And I mean, I won't name names, but this driver, he'd hit me off twice before in the season. Once I was in the podium and once I was in the lead. So he'd lost me it was about sort of 40 points, you could argue. And if I had those 40 points in that second to last round, you know, I'd still have been second just or something, you know, I'd still be fighting easily for the win. And he got no penalty for that, you know, for that both those times he hit me. And, you know, that his dad was in touring cars and it was like a father-son sort of bit of a
I know who it is now.
sort of thing. Yeah, it was just, I don't know, it's a bit, I thought it was political and the championship weren't like doing anything about it, basically. So I had that, and I had the Red Bull, you know, then I was doing my GCSEs that year, broke up with my girlfriend. Mate, the list goes on. Like, you know, there's no excuse for doing what I did. Like, I deserved to have the book thrown at me. I deserved to be banned. I got banned for a year. I missed a year of racing. I've served my time, so everyone just needs to shut up now and just move on. You know, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you said it yourself. It was wrong, and you learn your mistake from it, I guess. And you're probably a better person for it, or better driver even for it now. Completely,
yeah. I think so. Yeah, I mean, that year off was a very big reflection, obviously, of what my character is. I mean, I believe, you know, you either have the spark or you don't. You sort of can't teach a spark, but you can teach someone to sort of calm down a bit, basically. So that's the way I like to think of it, really. So that year was just a character reflection, really. Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how much of it is the fact that it's motorsport, and because what I'm kind of thinking in my head is that why people still, it stays in their head probably what happened there, you know, 6 years later. And I'm trying to compare to other sports, you know, like let's say these professional football, Premier League footballers that make a mistake, or, you know, they, you know,
like Suarez, like biting someone, like forever someone known as biting someone, even though he's one of the most talented footballers ever, or whatever.
Yeah,
you know, these he did really bad, but like everyone just still remembers him for that.
Yeah, exactly. And these kind of, I'm thinking the Premier League footballers that everyone knows their names, the ones that would have broke COVID rules or stuff like that over the last year or so, and they get the book thrown at them, rightly so at the time, but they get forgiven. And I'm trying to think why that wouldn't be. Maybe because it's a more dangerous sport. I guess what happened in that incident is dangerous.
No, I mean, well, if you look at when I made contact with him at 28 miles an hour. So that doesn't make any difference, you know, obviously, really. But I mean, I'm just saying that was the number. But I think that the biggest lesson there, I had to learn that lesson for life. You know, I felt like I was being treated unfairly by the championship, i.e. him not receiving penalties. So I effectively took the law into my own hands. So that's not a lesson I need to learn for motorsport. That's a lesson I need to learn for life. I don't know.
No, we can laugh about that, but you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, you know, I'm 21 now, but I feel like in certain parts of my life in the last few years, I've had to be like a 30-year-old. You know, we have to grow up so quickly, and I think, you know, being banned, you know, has sort of helped that, really, and maybe it has, like you said, you know, a few minutes ago, made me a better character as a result.
Yeah. Well, I always remember. I think it was your first race back after that, and we were teammates. I'm pretty sure it was your first race back. It was Hockenheim. Hockenheim, end of 2016.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Me, you, and Lando. was me, you, and Lando. Yeah, that was a fun weekend.
Yeah, it was.
It's the first time I'd met you, I think.
Yeah. No, we met. I remember at Carina. When
where was that? Where was that? Was it race or test?
Nürburgring. It was you and Jack. You were both fighting for wins or whatever, and I got this car that was sort of pulled out the shed that had a massive crack in the chassis. I got that last 2 races. Oh, did you?
Yeah, that was my one. Yeah.
It's called something, and one of the engineers there, Frank, who left there later,
Frank. Yeah, I remember Frank.
He called it the flying something or something.
Flying shitbox.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I don't mean to bring this about my career at this point because you're the guest, but I remember 5 rounds into that year. I was second in Eurocup and leading Alps, and I was ahead of Jack in Eurocup at that point. We were really close to pushing each other the whole year.
Yeah, I remember.
He ended up winning both championships, but the last 2 rounds in both, I was nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And I remember going to Alps, last round of Alps in Jerez, and there was only 24 cars. And bear in mind, I was fighting for the leader championship, and I qualified 19th.
Yeah, well, it's exactly the same as me. I was 2.5 seconds off you 2 or something when I did it, and I was 23rd or something.
Yeah, and Frank was running me that weekend because my normal engineer was with, I think, Matt Parry in GP3 at Clashed or something.
Yeah.
And he told me he was the one that told me. You actually showed it me. But yeah, it was that was interesting. But yeah, sorry,
we've gone off on a tangent, but there's a lot of things to think about in this sport. For sure.
We digress
for hours.
Yeah, we digress. But that was your first race back, wasn't it?
Yeah, Hockenheim was my first race back, and then I did Macau with Double R. It was 2016. That
Yeah.
And I think I was 8th in the main race after the safety car, and then Beckman, I think he outbraked himself a little bit, and took 3 cars and just basically took me straight out of the race at the Lisboa, unfortunately. But yeah.